I'm coming to you live tonight, not only from my YouTube channel. I'm coming to you live tonight from my from John G. Jones Facebook page, and I hope that, as always, we're all able to get something from tonight's show. So today on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the bogus Follette Society. Yes, I said bogus. And I said that for a couple of reasons. Let me point out some things to you in regards to this Follette Society. For a long time, the Follette Society has attacked black Freemasonry. And when I say black Freemasonry, I'm talking about those Grand Lodges that they don't recognize as Masons. And tonight we're going to tackle that issue. Because from what I've read in regards to the Follette Society, they said they how'd they put it? They respect all Masonic organizations if they're recognized by the Grand Lodge of England. That's a bunch of bullshit. Let me just put that out there to you right now. That is the craziest thing. How is it that you can say that you can fix your mouth, fix your website to say something like that? And I say that because as much as respect that Prince Hall has, and I'll give them that. See, I don't mind giving people credit. I don't mind doing that. But as much credit as they have established for themselves around the world, but to me, to bow down and say these things in regards to other organizations that is not part of them or they don't recognize, to me is bullshit. Because they don't say that about any white organization or Masonic organization. Yes, there are some white clandestine Masonic lodges out there, if you want to call them that. Okay? But do you see any white Grand Lodge or Masonic organization go at it like black Masonic organization go at it? You don't see that. The reason you don't see this is because they understand what Masonry is really all about. Now, they can have their agreements, they can agree to disagree, but truly they understand something that we have yet to understand. And this is the saddest thing in regards to Freemasonry, something that we're going to have to get over some type of way or another. But it's going to be a long time coming. Because for over 100 years, or I would say since the Follette Society has been around, they have attacked Black Masonry, Ancient Free and Accepted, International, Modern Free, PHO. They have attacked those organizations by calling them clandestine and bogus. You are not the police of Freemasonry. Let's have some clear understanding about that. You are not the police of Freemasonry. You are not the only Grand Lodge or Masonic organization around. You may feel that you are. You may feel that, hey, you're the it factor. No, you're not the it factor, my brother. You are not the it factor. So if you can call me clandestine and bogus, I can throw it right back at you. Yes, the Follette Society is a bogus and clandestine organization. Their job, they claim, is to point out black bogus organizations or black clandestine or clandestine organization. Hell, you won yourself. Look at how you got organized. Look at how you started. And for you to do the things that you do to other black organizations is a travesty. It is just crazy how you go and attack other black organizations. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I've seen the list of Grand Lodges that you list as being clandestine or bogus. You have never ever contacted any of those Grand Lodges to know anything about them. You have not done it. But you sit on your high horse and you do that. And another thing, just like you go and you text or you get in contact with Chad Swanson from the Grand Lodge of Texas. He's a member of that jurisdiction. Somehow, some way, you get in contact with his Grand Master or somebody in that state and go and ask him about Tony Hawkins. Do you know that he's a bogus Mason? But when I contacted you, Follette Society, did you contact me back? No, you didn't contact me back. Why not? Are you that afraid? Somebody said, oh, I see you took down the last video. Did you get a phone call? It don't work that way on this side of the country. In this jurisdiction, the only somebody that can really shut me down is going to be my grandmaster, period. Other than that, I got free will, brother. See, most of you tend to forget. If you are truly a Freemason, you are a free thinker. You abide by the bylaws and constitution of your jurisdiction, period, in the customs of Freemasonry. You're given all the rights, lights, and privileges according to your jurisdiction, in the amenity that your Grand Lodge may have with another Grand Lodge. Or if an individual who's a Mason want to grant you those rights and lights and parts. You tend to forget the charge that was given to you in the first degree. You need to go back and read that charge and understand what was said to you during that part, because a lot of you have forgotten that. The Follette Society has been a spear, have been a charge. Their duty is to collapse. Their duty is to tear down Masonry amongst the African American community. And when I say tear down, because they want to be the only one. Well, too damn bad. You're not the only one. You may not like it, but brother, we're not going nowhere. International is not going nowhere. Modern Free isn't going nowhere. PHO is not going nowhere. I don't care what you say about them. Ancient Free and Accepted is not going anywhere. So you might as well get over yourself and see what it is that some of us is afraid to call a spade a spade. The Follette Society is a spade. Not that they're black or anything like that, because they're a spade. They full of shit. Let's just be honest. That's what they are. Anytime you can text or get in contact with another jurisdiction to try to force an individual not to respect another man, you're full of shit and you're afraid. Are you collapsing or something? What's going on with you that you got to do that? This is what I can't grab hold on. We're supposed to be Masons. We're supposed to hold on to the mysteries and be able to teach and educate and help good men become better men. They're already a good man, but how can you do that when you are continuously to put your thumb on somebody? It reminds me of Django when he rolled up at the house and here come old Samuel Jackson coming out the house. Who's that nigga on that nag? That's what it reminds me of. And I had to do this tonight. The other video, I took it down because of the audio. That's why I took it down. It had nothing to do with anything else. I didn't get a call. Like I told you, the only somebody can give me a call and close this shop is going to be my grandmaster, period. But other than that, no, it doesn't go like that over here. So I'm just saying tonight, our conversation is about the Bogus Follette Society. That society that tries to tear down every other organization, but that which is a white organization. Now, let me clear the air on this here real quick. No, I'm not racist. Well, why do you always talk about white masonry? I have never said anything disrespectful in regards to mainstream. Let's have some clarity on that. Those brothers in mainstream that I know of, that I personally know of, see, there's a difference. The brothers in mainstream Grand Lodges that I know of, they respect you, okay? They may not recognize your jurisdiction as far as you coming to visit, but as far as respecting you as a man and as a brother Mason outside of their jurisdiction and having a conversation with you on masonry, as it's different. And you may say, well, he shouldn't be talking to you about masonry. Look, being a Mason is a life journey. Being a Mason is a life journey. When you apply those things that you learn in masonry to your life works and the things that you do in your life, it becomes part of your life. Plain and simple. But this is what happens. This is the craziest thing what happens. As I've read through the Follette Society and what it's supposed to be all about, it is full of shit. Plain and simple. And some brothers and sisters may say, well, why is he talking like that? He shouldn't talk like that. Well, I don't give that tonight. Okay? This is not that type of show. If you got that thin skin, you don't need to be on here tonight. You got that thin skin, you might as well go finish watching Monday Night Football, because this is not that type of show. Okay? My thing is this. Treat a man with due respect and you will get respected. Okay? And for a long time, the Follette Society has not respected, nor are they ever going to give respect to other black jurisdictions. They're not going to do it. So sometimes you have to just call things as they are, or as you see them. And I see the Follette Society as being a hindrance. I see them as being racist. I see them as being bigots and Freemasonry. And I say that because of what they have tried to do. You know, I see that because of what they've tried to do. Now, if they didn't try to do this, if the text message that I received from Chad Swans is incorrect, or he lying to me, if somebody said, oh, he lying to you. If I don't believe that this man would text me out the blue and said this is something that he received in regards to him talking to me, in regards to the minister Louis Farrakhan becoming a Mason. To me, the Follette Society is like pissed off that he did it. Are you mad that you didn't have the balls enough to approach the minister and ask him in regards to join your organization or become a Freemason? Yeah, I heard some of you talk about, oh yeah, you know, Minister Farrakhan always talk negative about Masonry. No, he does not. There's not one video out there of him talking negatively about Freemasonry. In his videos, he has clearly said he's talking to the white Masons, and he distinguished that. So don't think that he doesn't know the organization for which he belongs to. See, there's a difference. He understood very well, okay? He's a very well-learned man. And his team that he has, oh, don't think they didn't do any background checks on us. For one thing, each of us who went to see the minister had to write a resume about who we were in our jurisdictions and what we in what positions we held. Okay? Each of us had to do that. So for some of you to say, well, oh, you know, they tricked the minister. Ain't nobody tricking the minister. This man is well known throughout the world. Okay? He just so now happens to be part of the ancient, free, and accepted Masons. Now, this is what you have to realize. The minister doesn't limit himself to just being a part of the ancient, free, and accepted Mason. He's a Mason. Period. Now, if any of you got any balls, and if you want to go try him, you see him, you think that you got the balls to do it, you do that. You do that. You may fail, but you do that. So tonight, once again, if you just tuning in, we're talking about that bogus organization called the Follette Society that refuses to communicate with me, because I reached out to him. Yeah, I did that. I reached out to him. See, here's the problem. If you're going to talk about somebody, do it to them in their face and have that conversation with them and break it down to them that way. See, man to man is the best way to have a conversation with someone. Instead of all of this behind the keyboard, you're this, you're that, you're clandestine, you're that. That means nothing. Nothing at all. And this is what the Follette Society has been doing year after year after year, trying and saying that they're educating the community on bogus organization when they're bogus themselves. Yeah, I said it. They're bogus themselves because of what they're trying to do to the rest of the Masonic organizations in the black community. Because let the truth be told, International Modern Free, PHO, the ancient free and accepted brothers, they're doing the bulk of the work in the community. Let the truth be told. Now, I know some of you may say, well, wait a minute, Brother Hawkins. Hold up, Brother Hawkins. You tripping, man. This is what my lodge do. Well, that may be true. But I'm letting you know, in most communities, from the west to the east, the other organizations get together and they do the bulk of the work. Hear me what I say, because I've tried to reach out to PHA and say, look, this is what we can do together. It's not about jurisdiction. Look at what we can accomplish together. And they're like, nah, we can't do that. Why can't we go and help this lady who needs help together? Nah, no. See, being the oldest don't make you the smartest. Being the oldest organization doesn't make you the smartest. And let's be honest, and you're not the oldest organization. Okay? PHA is not the oldest organization. It was named after Prince Hall after he died. All right? The oldest organization is the National Grand Lodge. Bar, and it still exists today. Some may say, well, it's not the same organization. Well, you go tell them that. Prove it. Take them to court. Prove it that they're not the same organization. When their history, their lineage, on my last video that I did, I showed you. I pointed it out to you. Christopher Belcher was on. He's a historian. And getting back to that same video, some of you were saying, well, he's been expelled from his organization. So what? You don't recognize him anyway. So even if he was expelled, it doesn't mean anything to you, does it? So it doesn't mean anything to me either. He's a brother to me, period. And I'll treat him as such with all due respect to who he is and the work that he's put in. Do I agree with everything Chris may say? No, I don't. But that's okay too. You know, we can agree to disagree. And I'm all right with that. With all due respect. Men's can agree to disagree and still go have a beer and fellowship. See, boys fall out. They mad at each other. I'm going to my house and they don't want to speak to the person the next day. That's a boy thing. See, but when you're dealing with men, that's totally different. That's totally different. And when I look at that Follette Society website and I see all the various jurisdictions that they may have down there that have been around for decades, and they got them down listed as clandestine or bogus. They had never sat down at the table with that organization. They have never talked with or to that organization or anything, but they want to list them. Why do they put them down? Why isn't that the Follette Society has nowhere on their website do they mention anything about a clandestine white Masonic organization? Nowhere. Why is that? Follette Society, you want to shed light. You want to educate and give brothers knowledge. You shed that light. See, you ain't on code. You'll do all the other stuff, but you won't do this. See, that's the thing that I don't understand. I've been trying to, people say, well, Brother Hawkins, you have to kind of take a step back. No, I'm not taking no step back. It's time out for taking steps back and letting people walk over you. For over 100 years now, the Black, Ancient, Free and Accepted Masons, International, Modern Free, PHO, we've all taken a step back and allowed the Follette Society just to walk over us and not say anything. I ain't letting shit be. Okay? I'm just done with it. All right? I'm not letting nothing be. Now, some of you may say, well, you don't have to use such a language. Yes, sometimes this is the only language that some people can really understand. See, you can't speak nicely to some people sometimes because they look at you like, you're a punk. No. Just say no, you're not going to walk all over me. You're not going to disrespect me. Okay? If you want respect, I'll give it to you. It's earned. But here you go. The Phylaxis Society says you hadn't earned their respect. So they're not going to give it to you. They're going to list you as a bogus and clandestine organization. So why don't we list them as a bogus and clandestine organization and stop taking a second seat or a back seat to any organization? Look, if you are a Grand Master of any Masonic organization, you're just as equal to any other Grand Master out there. Stop taking a damn backseat to people. Well, you know, their organization is bigger than mine. So what? You was elected to be Grand Master of your jurisdiction, and you deserve the same respect no matter where you go. But no, you want to take a back seat. I'm not taking a back seat to nobody. Nobody. I feel this way. I've served my jurisdiction in the capacity of a Grand Master. I did that. Okay? I served 5 years total. With all due respect to other Grand Masters, regardless of their jurisdiction, I feel the same way wherever I go. I'm a past Grand Master. Okay? I take that title wherever I go. In my Blue Lodge, I'm a past Wishful Master. I take that wherever I go. I don't just look at any other Mason and say, well, you know, I'm better than you, or my jurisdiction is bigger than yours, or yours is bigger than mine, so therefore, you know, we're not on equal playing fields. No. No, it doesn't, no. It doesn't go down like that. Not at all. See, some of you wouldn't mind taking a back seat and saying, well, you know, it's really okay. No, it's not okay. It is not okay to take a back seat to any other Grand Master. Now, I'm talking to my ancient free and accepted, my modern free, my internationals. Okay, my PHOs. I'm talking to those brothers. You don't take a back seat to nobody else. You're just as equal to any other jurisdiction around the world. You are. You were selected to be Grand Masters by the craft, were you not? So why are you taking a back seat to anybody? You know? Big shout out to my brothers of the craft. The Most Wishful Sons of Light Grand Lodge of California, Ancient Free and Accepted Mason. Omar Scarf is Grand Master. The fourth oldest Grand Lodge in the state of California. Big shout out to you. Yeah, I have to get that to you. You know? What happens in this thing we call Freemasonry is that we tend to forget what it's really all about. If you tell me that Freemasonry is about the brotherhood of man, the fatherhood of God, relief and truth, you telling me that this is what it's all about, but yet you don't give another man that same due respect, you're full of that stuff. You're full of it, man. You're done. Okay? You're just done. Okay? And most of the people like to talk about, well, what if you was on the side of the road? And look, it's bigger than that. It is truly bigger than that. And we're going to have to wake up and understand that. Because Grand Masters who are head of the various jurisdictions, if you only realize the power and authority that you actually have, oh man, it's deep. It's really good that. And I say that because even in my own jurisdiction, it took us some time to realize what we actually had and have as a jurisdiction and the influence that we have. It took us a minute to understand that. But once Grand Master understood that, he was like, look, this is point A, point B, this is the plan for the year. This is how we're going to grow our organization. This is some of the things we have to implement. But what happens is you don't get that because some grandmasters are afraid. You know, they're afraid. We must unify and respect each other. Okay? This is something that we have to do. Do you know if we unify? When I say unify, I'm not talking about come together up under one big umbrella and be, Mayberry. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about unified as far as respecting the next Mason or even the next sister of the Order of the Eastern Star. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about unifying in such a way to when you travel as a Mason and as an Eastern Star, it's a different feel. Just like my when I was in Atlanta last weekend, it's a different feel when you're unified from various jurisdictions. I was in Atlanta and the brothers and the sisters there treated me like, man, it was unreal. I love the fellowship. Okay, I did. And I enjoyed the hospitality that I received. And no, I'm not a part of their jurisdiction, but the brotherly love was true. Okay, it was true brotherly love. I'm not talking about some book stuff that you read out of a book. I'm talking about you actually coming to town and the brother that you've never seen before, gets in his car, come and pick you up, drive you around. Man, that's what I'm talking about. Some of you will probably never experience that because you're so hell-bent on destroying the next organization or the next man or calling him clandestine and bogus. Some people say, well, you need to get over that. I'm not getting over nothing. I'm looking it square in the face and I'm having a conversation. Now, if you don't like it, you can leave the page. You can take that and let it alone. Go finish watching Monday Night Football. If a brother gets out their feelings and follow their organization, 75% of our problem would not exist. Yeah, that's true. If you get out your feelings and follow the obligation, but most of them are not going to get out their feelings, and most of them are afraid to follow their obligation. We got scared Masons around here. And the Follette Society has frightened a lot of people. But see, it's time out for being scared. But see, I understand this too. The Prince Hall obligation in some states, not all states, but the obligation in some states clearly says that you will not fellowship with other Masons other than Prince Hall. It clearly says that. So let's have an understanding about that too. It is not that they won't abide by their obligation. It's what their obligation says. Yeah, I said that some obligations under the Prince Hall affiliation says that they would not recognize any Masons except they be a Prince Hall Mason. That's a fact. Now, if you're a Prince Hall Mason and you think I'm lying, I can show you better than I can tell you. Trust me on that. That's truth. I respect all Masons. Not everyone who calls themselves a Mason is such. That's true. But what does it say for us to do? By strict trials, due examination, and lawful information until you have found him or them as worthy and well qualified as yourself. Am I right or am I wrong? Now, if you don't find that person as well qualified as you are, you don't have to do anything for him. Nothing at all. You're not obligated to do that unless you choose to. Some of your lodges are so small. And I'm not talking about your building either. I'm not talking about how many members you have in your organization either. I'm talking about you as a person being a Masonic lodge. You're so small in where you're at till you don't understand how big the Masonic world is. See, we've read that the Masonic Lodge is from as far east as it is west, as high as the heavens until the center point of the earth. And if this is your Masonic Lodge, you are not limited. Oh, well, my lodge is not recognized by such and such, then I can't go there. Come on, you know the theme. You know the theme. Go where you are accepted and respected and not just tolerated. See, some of you like being tolerated. You're a part of a Masonic organization that tolerates your ass. See, you happy being there. They tolerate me. I'm happy being here. I can go visit John down the street because I'm part of this lodge and they tolerate you. I tell you what, if you are a brother, black man, and you're part of the mainstream Masonic organization, Grand Lodges, let's say you're in New Jersey, okay? I'd like to see you go visit a Grand Lodge in the South, particularly Mississippi. See, you ain't felt strange yet. I'd like to see you go do that and tell me how much brotherly love and fellowship, how you really felt when you sit up in there. I'd like to know how you really feel. You know, yeah, you know, Brother Hawkins, you always talking about the black and the white, da-da-da-da. Man, looking you straight in the face. It's reality. Okay, it's reality. Let's have an understanding. Not all white Masons are that way. You've heard me say it before, so I just want to make sure I clear the air on that. Because some of you like to get just carried away. So let me clear the air on that. Not all are that way. I'm saying history teaches me. History teaches me these things. And I pay close attention to what history teaches me because the shit looks like it's about to come around again. And some of you ain't ready for it. I'm just saying, some of you are not ready for the reboot. For real. Briefly, brotherly love will not have you splitting and forming a new Grand Lodge every other month. You know what? Yes, it will. It will have you doing that. It will. Brotherly love will have you splitting and forming new organizations. Check this out. So, for those of you who were not born during the 60s, Martin Luther King went to the NAACP for help. They turned him down. Oh, you didn't know about that. How did the Southern Conference get started? The Southern Conference of Ministry, the Southern Conference, what was the name of the organization? I want to say the Southern Conference of Baptist Ministers got started. How do you think that got started? It got started by MLK because he got turned down by the NAACP when he went to ask his own organization for help. So when you tell me that brotherly love will as far as splitting is concerned, just because I leave you doesn't mean I don't love you. I'm just not going to deal with your bullshit. That's what that means. I'm not going to put up with it. I can do better on my own. So if I got 100 brothers that feels like, hey man, we can do this on our own, we're going to go do it. There's no police in Freemasonry. Oh, but the Follette Society feel like they're the police. And come to the Follette Society site and we will tell you all about the bogus Grand Lodges that are around that are black. But like I said, you don't have a white one listed up there. So that must tell me something about you. That tells me a lot about you. You know, I'm just putting it out there the way it is. What's up, Brother Debo? What's going on with you? I hope everything is all right. Well, you have to understand that this is why many of them are taught. Ooh, well, the Prince Hall Premier is an example. Yes, the Prince Hall Premier is an example. It tells you, you know, it directs your teachings. I have a Prince Hall Premier. I have a couple. And he's absolutely right. What's up, Carlton? What's going on with you, brother? Past Grandmaster. Glad to have you aboard tonight. Glad to see you. Hopefully everything is all right with you and yours. But I'm just done with taking a back seat. I'm done with being like, you know what, don't want to touch the subject. Somebody got to talk about it. And most of you are afraid to talk about it. And here's where we're at. And this is what we got. You know? So here it is. The ignorance will continue to ignore. You know? And that's the problem. See, the craft, okay? The craft in some jurisdictions elect the Grand Master. Not in all, in some. And let me explain this to you, the reason why. In some jurisdictions, the Grand Master is selected before you even get the grand session by a committee. But you wouldn't know that. You're probably saying I've lost my mind. No, I'm telling you, in some jurisdictions, the Grand Master is selected by a committee. Okay? It's truth. I don't have to tell you the jurisdiction they are. It'll shock you if I told you. All right? If you have a conversation with some brothers, they'll tell you that. All right? In some jurisdictions, you go to grand session, your junior warden, senior warden has the right to vote on grand masters. In other jurisdictions, past masters, grand lodge officers, everybody gets the opportunity to vote as long as you hold an office in your grand lodge, except the secretary and treasurer. The junior deacon, senior deacon, and stewards don't have a right to vote. But your worshipper master, your past masters, past junior wardens, past senior wardens, all of them get the right to vote. Every jurisdiction has a protocol for who gets the right to vote. Even though if you have a jurisprudence, it may tell you only the junior warden, senior warden, and the worshipper master has a right to vote in some jurisdiction. Masonry is not the same in every jurisdiction. But you sons of guns always want to run and call somebody else a name and then hide your hands. No, I'm calling you out tonight. My call is to the Follette Society, one of the most racist organizations that I know of in Freemasonry. And I can prove it if you go to their site. All you have to do is go to their site and you will see it for yourself. Question why they don't have a white Grand Lodge or a white Masonic Lodge on their list listed as clandestine. Tell me why. Because I know they're out there. If you want to use the definition for clandestine, you know, which most of us don't really use the true definition for it. But if you want to apply the definition of clandestine, there are some white Masonic organizations, Masonic lodges out there that operates independently from a Grand Lodge that is considered clandestine. But their names are not listed on the Follette Society website. I want to know why. If you can list every black organization, why can't you list those that are white? Why can't you list those that are Mexicans and Filipinos and other races and nationalities? Why can't you list those? That's the question. If you're going to be that type of website that want to just point people in the right direction, why don't you list them? You don't have the balls enough to list them. You don't. You could talk about it, but you don't have the guts or the balls enough to list those organizations. You're too afraid. Just like you was too afraid to ask the minister to be a part of your organization. You're too afraid. And being afraid gets you nowhere. You're too afraid to come to the table and sit down with other black organizations, Masonic organizations. You're too afraid. You want to absorb them. No, they don't want to be absorbed. They're sovereign. They want to be able to operate independently as they always have. Now, they can come to the table and sit down and talk with you about doing certain things and projects. That'll be nice. But you don't have the balls enough to even do that. And I don't know why. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of, Follette Society? Huh? What are you afraid of? I reached out to you. I asked you a couple of questions. You have yet to respond to me. Oh, you don't recognize me, so you're not going to respond to me. But you'll sure talk about me. Oh, yeah, you'll talk about me. See, that's the thing. I don't understand it. See, cowards talk about people without them being there. That's a coward. If you're going to talk about somebody, have them at the table and have the conversation. But you won't do it. You don't have the balls enough. You sit down in your private rooms and you write out in your magazines about various organizations and some of the charity work that you may be doing, but you ain't doing a damn thing but talking. That's all you're doing is talking. You know? Oh, what's up, Raymond Edwards? Clandestine means I don't recognize you. I don't recognize Prince Hall. So you are clandestine to me. Only Raymond Edwards would post something like that. What's up, my good friend? How you doing? Bylaws depict what jurisdiction, okay, you're supposed to do. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, brother Marcus? Hey, brother Marcus, how you doing tonight, my brother? Brother Marcus X, I call him brother Marcus W. Hill, was one of the 12 brothers who was with me at the visit to the minister's home last month. And I just want to let him know how much I appreciate him, and how he helped to organize, to get us where we needed to be. He played a big part in that. And I just want to let him know how much I appreciate him publicly in front of everyone. And I want to just share this with you. This is a gift that I personally received from him in regards to going to visit the minister. And I want to let him know how much I appreciate the gift that sits on my desk here in my office. And I just want to say I thank you, my brother. I really do. And Marcus, if you want to call in tonight, brother Marcus, call my phone and you can be on the show and you can have part of this conversation too, if you choose to, my brother. So with that being said, we're going to continue on with tonight's discussion. There needs to be only one obligation for all Masons everywhere: study and have a thought understanding before moving on to the next degree. Well, brother, I'm going to tell you, brother Bradley, there are obligations, or the obligation you take is different from other jurisdictions' obligation. It is. In retrospect, it's the same, but there are some word changes in there. There are truly some word changes in there. Okay? The obligation that you may take as a Mason, if you have a Duncan's or a Lester, or some of the other Masonic rituals that you may have, if you read them, all of them don't read exactly the same. Okay? They don't. Greetings and peace to you again, brother Marcus. So we have to consider that. And we have to respect a brother Mason. I'm saying, hear me clearly. It's cool to respect another brother Mason. There's nothing wrong with it. But when they get out of pocket, they need to be checked. Why are we so afraid to check each other? And you'll check everybody else. You'll check everybody else. But it seems like to me that sometimes we get afraid. Well, I really don't want to go over there and talk to him, maybe, No, you do it all the time. You do it all the time. And this is where we at. Yes, I said it. The Follette Society is a bogus organization. Yeah, I said it. They remind me of Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Chingo. Okay? Who that nigga on that nag? I'm that nigga on that nag. And I said that, okay? Because I'm done with the being polite. I'm done with the, okay, we can all work together. I like that. I like saying that we actually could all work together. I really believe that to a certain degree, to a certain point. But there's those individuals who just refuse. I mean, you could take them stomping and kicking. They just refuse to work with you. And that's okay. I don't need you. I really don't. I don't need you. And it's time out for us to take a back seat to anybody. It's just over. That time is come and gone. If you think that you need to take a back seat to another organization or any other grandmaster, you don't need to be grandmaster, nor do you need to be a Mason. You don't take a back seat to no other brother who calls himself a Mason. You don't do that. No, you need to stand up, let it be known who you are and what you all about, period. And that's one of the things that I admire about the minister. Clearly, you've heard me say it many times before. He said, once you give me these accolades, who can come behind you and take them? Nobody. Nobody can come behind us and take anything that was given to the minister. Nothing. And that's the beauty of it all. The minister is a Mason. I love my brother. He said nothing that would deter me in any case. Nothing at all. That was indeed an honor to be at his home and sit at his table and break bread and have other brothers amongst us. So you can just say whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. You know? No, you just didn't have the balls enough to do it. And I'm calling it and saying it like it is. Masons are not cowards. Well, I know some that are. And let the truth be told, I know you know some that's cowards too. To my Masons aren't cowards. They scared to death. They scared to go any place other than their own lodge. They're afraid to go any place other than their own jurisdiction. That's a coward. And damn it, I believe there's some eavesdroppers too. Just call it what it is. You know? Now, I'm not as hard as Brother Raymond Edwards may be. If any of you may know him, he's the Grand Master from Kings of Kings Grand Lodge out of New Jersey. Now, he'll give you a few choice words. I've seen him in action. Okay? So I let him do what he does. That's because that's who he is. You know, I let the man be him. I don't interfere with that. I don't. Greetings, how can I help you?
Hey, greetings, Brother Hawkins.
All right, now who am I speaking to right now?
That's Rushmore Master Aki Bradley.
All right.
Cleveland, that's number 7, Cleveland, Ohio.
Out of Cleveland, Ohio?
But I reside now in Atlanta, Georgia. I wish I was able to catch up with you last weekend when you was here in Atlanta.
Okay. How you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, brother.
All right, so what you want to talk about? Talk to me.
Yeah, I want wanted to chime in on the topic of discussion tonight down there, and you were talking about we had mentioned obligations and so forth and so on, and you read my response that I texted in, and I wanted to expound on it a little bit more, because I feel that if we as Masons had just one obligation per degree and grasp the full understanding of that obligation prior to proceeding to the next degree,
Mm-hmm.
and we stick and hold to that obligation, such as myself, every obligation that I've taken, I hold it to my heart dearly.
Uh-huh.
And through my experience, I realized that if we just stick to our obligation, 75% of the things that's going on inside the organization will not exist.
Well,
But like you said, different jurisdictions may have slightly different obligations, and I think that brings about a problem of division within an organization itself. But if we can just have one obligation, for example, for the first degree in an apprentice, and every Mason stick to that obligation.
Okay, I'm gonna share this with you. I see what you're saying, and I agree with your point. On the flip side of that, what the thing behind the obligation, the core essence of the obligation is not changed. It's what's added to the obligation. Okay, the core essence of the obligation itself clearly says that before you reveal the secrets of this, and this, you will have this done. That's the essence of the obligation itself. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. That doesn't change throughout Masonry. That doesn't change. What changes is when people add stuff to it, which I know that they have, and I've seen other obligations where they have added to them.
Yes, myself. And I agree with you, and that's where the problem lies.
Mm-hmm.
It should be where you cannot add anything to it or take anything from it.
Well, you're not.
And when you're not really functioning according to your obligation, and I'm trying to bite my tongue as much as I can, because I'm sure everyone that's chiming in is not a Mason.
No, everybody is not.
But when you stick to your obligation, let me say it like this. One of the biggest issues that I realized personally in Masonry, no matter what degree it is, Masons, generally speaking, across the board, not you and maybe not everyone that's Mason that's chimed in tonight, but generally across the board, Masons have a problem with putting their feelings into the craft. Take your feelings out, because Masonry don't care about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Masonry is what it was and what it's always going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to change.
Correct.
So you take your feelings out of it and stick to your obligation.
Mm-hmm.
75% of the problems that we having today would not exist.
I can agree with that.
Stick to your obligation.
But take a look at this here. Take a look at this here. What about the charges that is given to you as an into apprentice when you become a Mason? What about those charges?
Oh, I stick to them.
You know, but the thing is,
that's a serious business.
It is, but how many of us really get the charge? You know, how many of us have heard of after you have been initiated the charge? Like, take for instance this here part. Keep secure the irrevocable, the mysteries of the order, as these are to distinguish you from the rest of the community and mark your consequences amongst Masons. Meaning to say that the craft should be kept meaning that the craft should be kept dear to you. How many of us hold the craft dear to our hearts?
Not too many, and I'm pretty sure those that do hold it close to their heart can probably count on their hands the number of brothers that they have met personally that hold it close to their heart too.
Mm-hmm.
And in comparison to the ones that do and to the ones that don't, it's a shame.
And take for instance, even in the charge, it also says that you shouldn't argue about the craft.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that, because that was the point I wanted to make. You know, I'm reading some in the comments, and some people are saying this about brothers, whether they're PHA, PHO, international. I don't care who or what you are. If you are a Mason is a Mason is a Mason. Mm-hmm. Because when you're on the side of that road, or you need some help, some assistance, whatever the case may be, mm-hmm. I don't have time to ask you for this, third, and blah this skill. Are you my brother? How far do your cable toe go?
But see, a lot of them don't understand the definition of brother.
But and you just spoke on giving a charge. If that brother is not given a charge, then a lot of that responsibility cannot be given to that brother. They have to be given to his worshipful master.
And see, giving the charge is really the first principle of Freemasonry.
I agree.
That is giving the charge is the first principle of Freemasonry, because in that charge, it tells you how to carry yourself as a Mason. And not only does it tell you how to carry yourself as a Mason, it points some things out as far as dignitaries, who has been a Mason and how they felt as being a Mason. It points out a lot of things.
Yes. You must always govern yourself. When you're in that lodge, govern yourself accordingly.
You do.
And I've always told the brothers in my lodge, giving charge to the brothers in my lodge. Once we get out of the lodge, you still govern yourself accordingly.
You still govern yourself accordingly.
You are always in lodge.
So, Brother Debo Taylor pointed out the 25th landmark. I would like for him to post the 25th landmark, because I don't recall it right off the top of my head. But if he chooses to do so, he can post the 25th landmark and give a comment on it, because he made that post. That's Brother Debo Taylor there. But going back to what you were saying in regards to that charge being the first principle of a Mason, and understanding how to carry yourself, that you need to be a man of good rapport and none of what's the word? I got to look up the word.
Reproof.
There you go. And how many of us can actually say that?
Not too many. Not too many. And I can say through my own personal experience, a lot of the brothers, even in my own lodge, has came in with good intentions. But when some brothers get a little power, get a seat.
That's assumed power. You talking about when brothers get that assumed power?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
sir. And they put that pretty expensive regalia on. They start to feeling themselves.
Right.
You know,
right.
And that can be very dangerous. See, you know, and I tell brothers a lot. This is not a game. It's not a club. It's a lifestyle.
Okay.
And when you take it seriously, such as myself, and I'm sure like you, I've been following you for a while now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
When a brother take it seriously and take it to heart, and every step he take, whether he's in lodge or not in lodge, it's governed.
Mm-hmm.
As he's always, well, esoterically, we are always in lodge. But another story. But you take it to heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's some serious business.
It is. And see, this is what really gets me. See, we have sit back so long and allowed the Follette Society to blackball, or to put a blackball is not a good word because its connotation, you know, I got a thing going on with that. But we allow them to put us in this particular category in Freemasonry. You know, if you really want to understand what brotherly love is about, if you really want to touch on that, call that organization up that you think that is clandestine or bogus and have a conversation with them. But they're too afraid to do it. As I said before, they won't do it.
Well,
they won't.
Well, I mean, I've seen in one of your other videos before, because, you know, when I'm at work, you know, I drive, so I turn on the video. So, I chime into you every day at work.
I appreciate it.
and I learn a lot. I feel I know a lot, but I learn a lot more every time I listen to you. But I come to realize that there are a lot of scared Masons within the organization. I don't care if you're 4-letter, 3-letter, 5-letter, 8-letter, whatever letter. There's a lot of scared Masons in this organization.
That's true. But what are they scared of? See, this is the thing. Now I'm not going to say if. Freemasonry is supposed to be for free thinkers. Being a part of the Order of the Eastern Star is supposed to be for free thinkers, ladies who think freely, because they represent 5 points, okay?
Yes.
5 legitimate points of life of a woman. That's what those 5 points represents. In Masonry, those 3 steps those 3 stages that we go through represents the 3 stages of a man.
Yes.
Youth, manhood, and age. YMA. That's what it represents. But when you don't take that and apply that, then I have an issue with you. I don't care what jurisdiction you in.
But you know what, Brother Hawkins, Pastor Grant, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. But it comes a point for every master Mason, or sublime or master Mason, that you just got to get up off your.
Give off your ass. It's okay. This is that type of show.
You got to get up off your ass and get out and get it yourself. Like my father told me, the mountain don't always come to you. Sometimes you got to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get up and go and get it.
You do. And this is my own personal understanding, and maybe a Prince Hall brother can help me out. How is it that you can be part of, and I'm not talking to all, okay, because this doesn't apply to all, because I know how some of you get down, all right? But for those of you who don't get down, how can you sit there and allow an organization that you love, truly love, that you really put your heart into, to discriminate, to talk about, to put their thumb on, and to kick somebody that looks like you? How can you sit there and agree to it? And you do.
That goes back to how I started the conversation with you when I called in. They don't take their obligation to heart.
See,
you take your obligation to heart. Your obligation to tell you how you're supposed to treat your brother.
Mm-hmm.
especially when he's not in your presence and another one is talking bad about your brother.
Right.
Your obligation tells you that. But if you not just take your obligation, you go back and study your obligation. You dig deep into your obligation and dissect it. And like you say, a lot of times, when you go into that rabbit hole, leave some bread trail. Until you do that and get dirty. Basically, we always want to look good with our regalia on. But I've always told the brothers in my lodge, when I die, I want a Masonic fruit. And please get up there and tell everybody that's going to be in attendance that I was a dirty Mason. And what I mean by that is that I always dig deep and get down into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how much I take it to heart. It's not a club to me. It's not something for hang out and be around certain people just to get certain things, and you know how we get down.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing that before I came into the organization. I've been all over the world.
Okay.
But I came into the organization for another reason.
Mm-hmm.
Than partying and a lot.
But see,
like
that's the thing. This goes back, and I'm going to say this here. Everyone comes into the organization with an agenda. Every
Yes.
person who comes into Freemasonry comes with their own personal agenda. Now,
Yes.
some may become afraid when they actually join. Then they become
Yes.
timid. But every person who comes into Freemasonry comes in with an agenda. You do.
Yes. Yes. You come in with an agenda, but that's something that needs to be, and it's hard to really govern,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. But when one is seeking membership into the organization, into the crowds,
Mm-hmm.
and you have certain criteria that you must meet,
Uh-huh.
interviews, so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You ask that possible person that wants to come and join our organization, our crowd. What is your intentions? What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to be a member of this organization? Of all the organizations that on the face of the earth, you want to join this one?
Mm-hmm.
I've always asked everybody that I interviewed that. Why you want to join this one?
And I'm gonna say
a lot of things that you see Masons do, a lot of things you see Eastern Stars do, are things you should be doing anyway.
you should. And this is why
So you don't have to be a Mason or an Eastern Star in order to do them.
That's true.
So what can you bring to this organization?
Well, that's the good question. But check this comment out. This brother said, if modern Freemasonry is the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God, then which jurisdiction of God does the grand architect of the universe recognize? He
God
doesn't.
don't recognize that jurisdiction.
He doesn't. You know, it doesn't.
You split a piece of wood, you split a piece of wood, I am there. You lift a stone, you will find me. I am in everything and everywhere. You can't add to or take away from. Like I said, Brother Hawkins, you got to dig deep into this and get your ass dirty. Get your hands dirty.
Brother, are you banging on the table?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I'm serious about this. I'm sorry.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. I'm like, man, he passionate like me, you know.
Get into this. You already said tonight, Brother Hawkins, you already said. North and South and East and West.
Yeah.
You cannot walk anywhere on this earth and not be in lodge. So govern yourself accordingly, brother. Brother, govern yourself accordingly, sister. You always in chapter.
Hey. But most don't
look. Either you gonna be about it or let it alone.
Most people don't see it. Most people can't grab that though, bruh. And this is go ahead.
They need to let it go, Brother Huck. If you're not gonna be serious about it, let it go. Because I guarantee you there's a lot of good Masons out here, a lot of good sisters out here.
But most people look at Masons I'm talking about this new group that's just come along. They look at it as a social club. You know, we out in the club, man. We turning it up. You know, we got to go do the thing. This is how we do it. You know, it's not like, man, I'm one of them old heads now. See, I came in the 80s, and those who came in the 70s, see, we didn't have the internet and all of this that we have now. Mm-hmm. However, Follette Society was still around. They was putting out their pamphlets. They was putting out their work. They was doing the work. They was still throwing them stones. This is the bogus organization. This is that organization. And now that we have the internet, the Facebooks, and all these other things, it's time for us to come out of the shadows. Because for too long, we have been in the shadows.
And that's the problem that I and I'm sure a lot of other brothers have too. We got to come out the shadows. We got to stop being scared and take whatever comes to you.
And like my brother, like brother, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I'm gonna tell you like this, Brother Hawkins. My father, he passed a few years ago. He was the 33rd, and when I told him that I've joined Masonry, he said that it was one of the proudest moments of his life.
Wow.
Because now he can really talk to me more open. Like he want to. Then I started to have some, I guess, how can I say it, some struggles along my journey. Wow, when I became a worshipful master. I never asked to sit in the East. I was approached. And I decided to take that on. But some things started to happen, and my father, like I said, he said it, when you joined, it was one of the proudest moments of my life. But yet it was one of the saddest moments of my life. Wow. My father, he when he passed, he was 81, so he was an old Mason, old school Mason, because he knew what it had become. Right. And he told me, he said, son, I'm going to tell you now. You're starting your lodge, you're building your lodge, you're doing a great job. But you're going to fail at it. Whoa. I said, what? He said, boy, you're going to fail. Wow. I said, Dad, what you mean? He said, mark my word. One of these days, something going to come up, and all your brothers going to be right there, to the left and to the right of you. And as you start to charge and head, that brothers going to start to fall off. You're going to see who's strong and who ain't strong. You're going to see who's a Mason, because every Mason ain't your brother, and every brother is not a Mason. That's true. That's true. That sounds like Brother Christopher Jackson right there. So, and he also said, more you charge towards this problem to fix it, and you're going to be walking in the right direction. But as you get closer and closer to fixing that problem, more and more brothers going to fall off. They're going to turn against you. They're going to stab you in the back. They're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about me. They're going to talk about you like you. They're going to call you everything but the child of God. And then when your right hand man, you look for your right hand man, he gonna be gone. Your right hand man gonna leave. But then you're gonna be standing there all by yourself. And then what you gonna do? Now everything that you didn't learn, everything you've been taught, you got to put it to work. Now you got to build. Now you're gonna get dirty, right? You're gonna get dirty. Now you're gonna get dirty. So one brother asks, that's big. Let me see, I think that's cute, dog. He asks, is the Follette Society here? No, the Follette Society is here. And I said that you shouldn't talk about anybody unless they're present. However, with that being said, I have contacted the Follette Society and they have not contacted me back. So whether they're here or not, I don't care. For years they've been doing it. For years they've been putting other black Grand Lodges on notice. Now somebody's calling them out. They said if you knock at the door long enough, somebody gonna open it. The damn door open now. So the door is open. And ain't nobody scared no more. Ain't nobody trying to hide and say, well, you know what? No, ain't nobody trying to hide no more. If you know like I know, ain't nobody trying to hide no more. No, hide time is over. For real. Hold on just a second for me, bro. Let me see who's trying to give me a call here. Hold on just a second.
Well, I guess they hung up. Maybe they'll call back. If you're gonna call back, go right ahead. I lost your number there. But go ahead, talk to me, bro.
Yes. And then I
Oh,
want to say that I'm very proud and excited.
I got you on the air, but hold on, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, is there a new call on the line?
Yeah, it's Chad, Tony.
Oh, Chad, what's going on,
Not
Chad?
not
Wait a minute,
not
Chad.
Chad.
Hold on, Chad.
Yeah.
Before you tune in and go off, hold your horses, okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything that I say to you in private when I'm venting out of respect for other people on the channel.
Well, I appreciate that, Chad. So, go ahead. I'm gonna give you a few minutes, Chad. Go ahead and talk to me.
Well, it's not Chad Swans now. This is the other Chad.
I know.
I don't want to Chad. The one thing I was gonna say is I appreciate our one-on-ones and you listening to me vent. That means a lot. And I wouldn't say what I say to you in private because like
That's between me and you.
It's between me and you, and the conversations I've had with you where I'm putting down masonry and but mainly masonry. I'd be putting down masons because I don't know enough about masonry to put masonry down. But as far as how people represent masonry, that's why I've said the things to you, and the same things I've said to you, I've said to Chad Swans.
Okay.
And at times I feel bad because I feel like I may have hurt Chad Swan's feelings. But when I personally went after him, it was because he was defending. I felt like he was defending certain parts of masonry that are considered appendage bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's listening to you and listening to the gentleman that's been talking. That makes. You guys make me think differently about masonry.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a guy who does the Scottish Rite New Orleans channel named Michael Paul, and he admits that Freemasonry has kind of become, he doesn't say a drunken club, but
Mm-hmm.
what I've seen from Masonry, and I'm not talking about you guys, but my experience of where I grew up, I've seen Masonry essentially as a bunch of drunken, childish men. now, or drug addicts.
Okay.
And how in the world would somebody? I'm 45 now. Why would I want to join something that's going to bring me back to something that I want to stay away from? And how by my observations, I don't care if you're a Mason or not. I like what this guy is saying that was just talking. That's the reason I called. He triggered me to call.
All right.
You walk around the earth as your lodge. I like this guy, what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if someone is a Mason or not. I don't give a shit what culture you come from, what you label yourself as. My thing is do you believe that something created this universe in your heart? Do you? And do you question why in the F-U-C-K are you on this earth? And do you try to figure that out?
Mm-hmm.
If you think that way, we're close to being brothers. I might want to eat with you and have a further conversation because maybe you have an answer that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, I ask God every day. I tell God, why did you create me? I never asked to be created. I don't know why I'm here. I'm driving a semi-truck and I don't even know why. I don't know what the point, what good or what bad.
Chad, you're killing me, man.
Can I chime in, brother? Please, I love your voice. Talk some sense into me. I want to back when you. I want to respond to when you said drunken and drugs and why would you want an organization? In regards to that, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I feel the same. I felt the same way prior to joining myself. But you have to understand that when you're on the outside, one that's not a Mason, on the outside looking in through the window of masonry, you don't always get to see what goes on behind closed doors. And what I mean by that, you don't always get the nitty gritty part. And the only way to get the nitty gritty part is when you come in behind closed doors and you really get to see it for real and experience it yourself. And I say all that to say this here. Every Mason, no Mason is perfect. Every Mason is a little rough on the edges. And along his journey, part of his journey is to try to smooth those edges out, try to perfect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the public sometimes makes the mistake of thinking that every Mason is perfect when we're not, because Masonry itself is nothing but a tool to aid you in your spiritual journey with your Creator. That's what it is.
Okay, then I have this question. There's two things. Would Masonry help me grow closer to God, and would it help me get a sure ticket to heaven?
No, it's not going to help you get no sure ticket to heaven.
No,
I'm going to tell you that right now.
No.
But this, I will say this here. I will say this here in regards to the question that you asked. What I'm going to use myself as the example. What Masonry has, because I grew up in the South. I was a staunch Baptist, missionary Baptist, going. My mama Christian, I'm a Christian. Don't have to be baptized, but I will. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. You know what I mean? So, no, what it did for me, it made me challenge the things that I was taught. Okay? So what I began to do was to begin to look at things differently than the way I was taught things, you know. So when I read the Bible, instead of me just reading the Bible with basic on it, I wanted to know what the words meant. Why was these words here? What do they really mean? What does this word means in the Hebrew and the Greek versus the English? So it made me dig deeper. And as I dug deeper, I realized I was like, holy, wait, back up. This story I'm reading about in King James Version has been written before. Oh, has it? Now let me back that up. Where was it written before? Oh, Osiris, Isis. Oh, wait, back that up. What, you know, and so you begin to really research and really indulge yourself in re-educating yourself on being miseducated in some things. Like my brother Debo just said, sometimes Masonry take bad men and make them worse men. You know, I just read that. He says sometimes Masonry takes a bad man and makes them a worse man. And I understand clearly what he means by that. You know, so we have to be careful about those, not only who we bring in, but the example that we try to show. And like I said, the Follette Society doesn't show a good example of what Masonry is really all about. It doesn't. That's why
I'm not interested in you even bringing them up. I don't even know who you're talking about. I'm interested in what you have to say about Masonry and this guy who's been talking. What's your name?
But okay, Chad, that may be true, and I appreciate that, but that's not the show's topic tonight. The topic is about the Follette Society. Now, if you want me to, we can do another show. We could always, and I can have you to come on, as I've already told you earlier in our conversation, and we can have that conversation. But tonight's show is about the Follette Society.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this, Anthony. I was about to stop watching your video because it was on a topic I didn't want to. But the gentleman who's talking, I like you. I like the sound of your voice, and I don't like this topic because I don't know about it and I don't care.
Right.
I'm more concerned about what is Masonry going to teach me if I did join? What does Masonry have to offer me? What do I have to offer Masonry? And my intention of joining would be to criticize it as much as possible once I get in the door.
Okay, I tell you what, I'll do one better for you, brother Chad, and I call you brother. Okay, I'm gonna do one better for you. Tomorrow, let me see, what's today? Today is, give me Wednesday. Wednesday, we'll have that conversation. How about that? We'll have that open conversation with you on Wednesday.
Okay.
But
just
I do
between me and you, or
no, we're gonna have it on the show.
Okay.
Because I know you're gonna call me, so we're gonna have the conversation.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate you calling in, but I really want to stay on topic tonight. And like you said, you don't really know the topic.
I'm gonna dip out. You guys enjoy the rest of your show. I'm not interested in this part, but I like the other stuff. And what's the guy's name who was talking? So I remember his name.
Brother Bradley, Akey Bradley, A.K. Bradley.
Bradley, Mr. Bradley, it was nice talking to you. I'd like to talk to you more. You and Anthony sound like you have level heads.
I appreciate it. And you keep on trucking too. I'm a truck driver myself.
Anthony, give him my phone number if he wants it, please.
Oh, I'll do that.
And text me, Mr. Bradley, if you feel inclined to. I'd appreciate it.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, you guys have a good night, and I forgive me for taking you off topic, but when I need to know, I need to know, and I'm a go-getter at times, especially on certain knowledge I want. You guys have a good night. God bless.
God bless you too. Appreciate it. All right, so that was Chad. Chad. Interesting guy, and I appreciate him. You know, I'm going to have him back on the show where he can ask these questions and we can really have a open conversation on his question that he wants to know. But as I said, go ahead.
I want to do a slight response to in regards to the question that he was stating prior to getting off the line.
Okay.
How can I say it? When one is seeking to become a member of the order of this craft, this organization, and if your intentions are to just come in and see what it's about, or to be critical of everything, because you're not going to like everything, nor are you going to understand everything, because no one Mason knows all there is to know inside the craft. As soon as he said that he does, that Mason does not know too much.
Right.
So I say all that to say this here. If you're coming in wanting to join the organization with a doubt, with a question mark behind it, that is not the time for you to come. That's not the time for you to come. And I say that because when I was in college, I attended Mississippi State University, Starkville, Mississippi, October.
Wait a minute. You need to back that up.
That's why I say that. That's why I said it.
Mississippi State, Starkville. What you know about the Delta? I mean, not the Delta, up at the Triangle.
Yeah, I know about it. Golden Triangle. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. You don't even know nothing about West Point.
Yes, I do. Tupelo, Greenville, Columbus, all that.
Oh, my goodness. You mean to tell me when you may be some can?
Well, actually, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but that's where I attended school at.
Oh, my goodness. All right, go ahead. Finish up, bro.
Yeah. But I wanted to join. I didn't know what the Masonic order was, to be honest, when I was younger. You know, I remember seeing parade when I was a little boy, all these men walking around with these dark black suits on, and these ladies had all these white dresses on, looking real pretty. Everybody was looking good.
Right.
And in my child mind, I just thought that the women were angels, and the men were the angels' bodyguards. And I thought that for a long time. I didn't know what they were, what they were doing. Not knowing that my father was a Mason. Wow. I come home from college my freshman year talking to him about Masonry. Long story short, he said he's a Mason. And I said, well, I want to be a Mason too, Dad. He said, boy, you ain't ready. And I kept on asking him. I would call him on the phone. just ask him. I said, Dad, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. He said, boy, stop calling me when you think you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Call me when you know you're ready. Because as long as you keep on thinking you're ready, you ain't ready.
Wow. Well, I'm going to say this here.
This is not a child's game. It's the man's game.
Absolutely. So look.
When you coming in here, you have to tie your boots up tight. Because you might take off running. When you take off running, your boots might be still standing there.
Oh my goodness. Look, I just seen Keeman Amos just popped up. Brother Keeman Amos, why don't you give me a call tonight? We're talking about, the show is about, for those who just tuning in, is about the Bogus Follette Society, how bogus they are. And we're talking about this particular society because of how they have treated, how they have talked about other Masonic organizations. So tonight, we want to talk about them and how they treat us and how they talk about us. So we want to put them on blast because I personally have contacted them and they have not yet responded to me. So no, I'm not talking about them without them. If they know how to get in contact with me because I know how to get in contact with them. So let's have a clear understanding on that. And I know the chat line is like on fire on the YouTube channel. And I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. But tonight, that's my thing. That organization has had its hands in the black community and put a chokehold on every other black Grand Lodge and lodge around the way. They have. But no, it's time out. Nobody's taking a back seat to them anymore and waiting for them to claim you to be regular or recognized. That's not happening anymore. We're not looking for you to recognize us. As far as I'm concerned, I know my Grand Lodge isn't. We're not asking you to recognize us. What we're saying is this. You're just as bogus as any other organization because you don't treat everybody the same. You know, what you do is you post black organization, but you won't post white organization or Japanese organizations or Mexican organizations or any other Masonic organization that you feel would be clandestine. You don't post them. If you wanted to do that, you should do it across the board. Hold on just a second. Let me see who's just calling in here. Hold on. I think I got it.
Hello.
Hello, who's calling?
Hey, this is Brother Bell. Hey, how you doing, Brother Hawkins?
I'm all right, Brother Bell. Go ahead, talk to me.
Hey, you know what? We might be here because my grandfather's last name is Hawkins.
Oh, wait, hold up. Hold up a minute. Hold up. Hold on just a second.
Let me go lay down.
Brother Melvin Little.
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Hold on just a second. I got like 3 callers on the line, but hold on, okay?
All right.
All right, now I got 3 callers on the line, so Brother Bell, you go first. Talk to me.
Yes, my name is Brother Bell. I'm from Virginia right now, but I actually have family that's from Natchez, Mississippi. So, my name Hawkins. So.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to have a conversation.
Yes, sir. So, my thing is this: with the last guy that called in, he was kind of upset because it was like he was speaking the truth, and then he got upset. That's what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, and he didn't want to accept the truth from what was actually happened. I'm like, well, you need to understand like the Coptic mysteries, the Egyptian mysteries, and all that other stuff before you actually come into what it's supposed to actually be, what Masonry is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Masonry is not just intended for just them. It's from us, but it's intended for us.
Right.
And how we actually use it for us. There you go.
But see, a lot of people, but when you say us, a lot of people don't know about the factor because they're too busy trying to have somebody else to say that they're legit or not.
Yeah, there you go. They want somebody to legitimify what we are doing, and then they say it's theirs. It's not yours. We took it from us, and now you want to use it for your own benefit, but it's for our benefit. and so we... Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to chime in and say with Brother Bell.
And that says a lot about me, doesn't it?
No.
that says that
No.
That says I am your daddy.
Yeah, but see, this is my thing. It's like, why are you telling me that I need to pay you or need to ask you for permission to be part of something that's my culture?
Because they're using your culture. They're using your culture. They're using your culture, our culture, to make money for them. They started to lose money.
See what I'm saying?
And the only reason why they started to recognize some of us is because they knew that all of us get money. No matter how much they say we don't have, collectively together we got money. It turned into a money game for them. And we falling for the shenanigans on the wayside. While
so they need us.
Each other, they need us. Without us, they are going to fall. And
well, brother,
if I come together as one and understand that and take our feelings out of it and come to the understanding that what they're trying to make us come to them and get recognition for, it already belongs to us, so we should make them get recognition from
us.
Well, but hold on, the leadership.
They need to get recognition from us.
The leadership.
I'm
gonna say this because I think Brother Melvin Little trying to say something. Go ahead, Brother Little.
I'm sorry. If I can, no, brother, you fine. If I can humbly say something, here's the problem, brothers. As men and as Masons, we don't work together enough. We spend so much time with the bullet and our gun looking at each other that we don't look at the others. We all know that when they start talking about the secrets of Masonry and things of that nature, we know what that represents. We know what the lambskin represents. Back in the Egyptian days, that told what your rank was. When you had your collar on, that told if you was a soldier, if you was a priest, if you was a commander. Those are things. What they did is they took, and then you start. Now they put their clothes on and they kept that. So what I'm saying is, and our problem is Masonry. We're all becoming relics, black, white, green, and brown. Masonry is a progressive science. It means the progress of. In the 1800s, y'all accept who, if that's your daddy, that's fine. The Most High is my father. There you go. When you die, here's the thing. This says real quick. When you die, when I die, when you die, when we all go to the other side, the supreme being of each of our understandings is not going to say, hey, did you GLE accept you? Hogwash.
My thing is, if everybody was to read things from like Charles Ledbetter and like Margaret Blavatsky, and you would understand there are certain different things that actually coincide with like masonry. And then it's like those things, masonry didn't derive for those things. Masonry actually made those things. And it's like, you have to read like Margaret Blavatsky. People are like, I don't want to read that. I'm like, no, read it. I don't even want Charles Ledbetter. Read it. He was like, you know what? Because he thought that blacks were inferior at a point in time for his own travels. Then when he got deeper into it, he was like, blacks are not inferior. Blacks are more superior than what we'll be educated on. And then he dug deeper, and he was like, oh, the Egyptian mysteries are a whole lot deeper. And Masonry is a whole lot deeper than what I saw. And then he started writing books, and he was like, you have to understand that people that come from that continent, Egypt, Kemet, it's a whole lot deeper. It's a whole lot different meaning than what I saw or what I expected. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, brothers need to read that kind of stuff.
But check this out. I'm gonna interject real quick because I'm over in the chat line. One person said the Follette Society and how they are racist and bogus organization according to Tony. It's not just according to me. I went to the page and read for myself. And I seen all of the Grand Lodges that they had on in the organization. They were all black, but they don't have not one white, Japanese, Chinese, Blackanese, Mexican, no other organizations that are on that site claiming to be clandestine but black. So to me, yes, the Follette Society is racist and they're bogus, in my opinion, based on what they put on their own site.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people don't like to talk about. at the end of the day, when you talk about, they be talking about the first African lodge, blah blah blah. That's beautiful. That's great. Once we became a national body, you guys left. Everybody who left, how can you leave an organization, keep the same thing that you are? Once you leave, you break your lineage. So when we look in the mirror, everybody's messed up. But
that's true.
What I say, the Follette Society, I challenge you. And my name is Melvin Little. Y'all know who I am.
Hold on.
Have a conversation with us.
I'm going to answer this one question. Traveling Man. Traveling Man asked the question. I would love if one person would answer. Y'all, have you so much hatred for European system of Freemasonry and the PHA brethren who support it? Why not form your own organization with a different? We do have different names. For one thing, you have various different names. Okay. Now the system that you claim that the European have is an ancient mystery school system. And that system is from Africa. Now, exactly where about? A lot of people like to punt to Kemet and Egypt and other parts, but it's from the continent. So let's have an understanding, Traveling Man, when you say that. The system has been corrupt. We have a watered down system now. And for some of us who do some reading, we understand and know that. So don't just say that we hate mainstream and we hate Prince Hall. It's not that we hate, we just dislike the system that they try to play. Okay?
It's a control system.
Don't play me on the system when I do my own reading.
Police?
Okay?
Can somebody tell me where the Masonic police?
The Masonic police is supposed to be the Follette Society is the Masonic police.
No. Who is the authorized Masonic police around the world? There is none.
And my question to the Traveling Man, since you so much like to defend PHA, how come you're not a PHA Mason? You're a black man. How come you didn't join them? Right?
I got one better.
I'm just asking.
Call in.
No, he ain't gonna call in, bro. He ain't gonna call the show. he ain't gonna call the show. Traveling Man ain't gonna call the show.
I don't think any Mason, quote unquote, hates the Europeans, all that. No one hates the Masonry itself. We just, I'm generally speaking, we just dislike the way they got it set up. They making us come to them with money and then say, okay, we recognize you. You exist.
Who is that?
No, I exist without money because you have to automatically be recognizing me before you want me to come to you to bring you this money.
Well, the big question to me is for somebody to say, hey, you're not a Mason, but you got to be healed. If I got to be healed, that means I'm sick.
There you go.
So if I got to be sick.
Hold on.
How about you got to be remade?
Hold on just a second, gentlemen. I'm just reading something from the chat line. It says, everyone said it comes from Africa or Kemet, yet there was never an organization in Kemet known by that name. It was known as the mystery schools. Come on, man. Pick up a book and read.
Like I said, Brother Hawkins, you got to
Manly P. Hall, which is one of the most famous white Masonic authors out there, has already told you this. Come on, man. Traveling Man,
it's not
really?
Just him. No, it's not just him. It's Charles Ledbetter too. He said the same thing. It came from there. And the thing is, if they actually look at all the statues and look at everything else, they would actually see that all those signs, tokens, glyphs, everything came from there. If they actually looked at the actual stone and they said the stone is the andrite, which is the actual hardest stone, they would actually see that that's the hardest stone that everybody has to be formed from, and that would actually make them a greater Mason. What that is, and they don't want to do that because you know why? Because they only understand one thing. They only understand one principle. The only one principle that they understand is, oh, the black man did this. No, you gotta understand. It wasn't just Prince Hall. It was somebody that was before him that actually did those things. If you actually look at Noble Drew Ali, you actually look at Elijah Muhammad. Those things that are actually made, actually done, was before that, and it was done before that to make us greater. And they don't understand that. they don't understand that, and they hate to understand that. You know why? Because it's called cultural identification. When cultural identification happens, they actually only identify with a certain aspect of what has actually happened before they were actually born, or before their ancestors were born. And it makes them actually disgrace or actually hate what was actually done before that.
I'm going to agree.
That is the problem.
I'm going to agree with Alex Fitzgerald, and we don't usually disagree, but I'm going to stick with this because what he said was very important. He said, I'm sick of this. Black men must meet with respect for survival, oppression, poverty, and racism, not Freemasonry. Masonry is only a tool to properly display your inner ability to the world. I can appreciate that. That's a good point. And I do agree with you on that one, Alex Fitzgerald. You don't agree on some things, but I can agree with you on that one.
One thing we can agree on is this. What we all have in common is love, faith, hope, and charity.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we sit up here and we have differences, I don't think we spend enough time as men working on what we have in common. And if we work on what we have in common, I don't have to unify where I got to come up under another organization. I don't have to be assimilated. I can work with you. I can partner with you. And that, my friends and my brothers, is the true thing of Masonry. Love, faith, hope, and charity.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to do with how big you are. There's nothing to do with how small you are. If all of us worked on making this world a better place from which we came, now we're doing some good work. Good square work.
And this is one that gets me. The Traveling Man post, he says, PHA get accused for not wanting black unity because they side with the white Masons instead of people that look like us. Brother,
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that, but the issue is this. You live and work in your community that with people that more than likely look like you. Very few of us live in those other exclusive areas. Very few of us do. So when you say that, you got to look in the mirror, brother. You got some issues. You really got to look in the mirror some things, Traveling Man.
No, my thing is this. Traveling Man, you need to understand that there are white all affiliated brothers that I've met.
Yes.
So I don't want to hear that. Black people did this. Oh, really? I've met black I met white affiliated brothers. Period. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Don't want to hear that.
I met them. I don't myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm good friends with these brothers. And they're all affiliated and they're white. So I don't want to hear that.
I have PhD brothers who I deal with all the time, and I love them to death. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand, and that a lot of people are also saying in the background of PHA. So I'm gonna take a few seconds to defend my brothers in PHA. You got so many brothers that's so sick and tired of the separation, but you have those at the top that are working so hard to protect everything that they got. So you got the old mentality saying, this is the way it is. It's over 100 years. It's a wrap. Time to stop. What does it take for us to work together? If we work on the things we have in common, love, faith, hope, and charity, this is what we have in common. I guarantee you, those four values unite us all as Masons. Why can't we work on that? Everybody in every lodge, even in organizations, WMs do it all slightly different. I respect that. Even if I don't agree. If it's working for you, brothers, who am I to say what you should and shouldn't do? I just need to shut up and learn. That's just my opinion, guys.
No, you are absolutely correct, and that's what I'm saying. Because, I mean, I met this one brother. I mean, we played basketball together. We did everything. He's Italian. He's like Prince Hall, and I'm like, you Prince Hall? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I still love you even more, bro. You see what I'm saying? He's Italian. I mean, I met another brother, white dude. Oh, you're the Prince Hall? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm a Prince Hall Mason. I'm like, and what do you want me to say? I'm like, you're brother to me.
Well,
organization is nothing more than your Masonic home. That's all it is. You know what?
We brothers.
I hear brothers be like, yeah, I'm out of the I'm PHL, I'm out of the Grand Lodge over here in Korea, blah, 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 blah. But you in America, so guess what that means? You ain't been home in a minute. I understand. So if you want to claim that as your Masonic home, I don't have no problem with it. Truthfully, you ain't been home in years. But that's okay. Go somewhere else. You go visit at different houses. And don't be so, I'm looking for irregularities. Because guess what? I guarantee you, every brother in the world can go somewhere else and find some kind of irregularities. Let's look at what we got in common. Let's look at lifting each other up and working together. That's what the minister was saying. Use my name to unite.
Yeah, brother, he did say that. The problem that we're going to have, he absolutely use the minister's name to unite. But we even amongst ourselves as black men and black women, even amongst us, some don't give a damn about the minister. Let's just be honest. I'm gonna put it out there like that.
You're right.
As much as the minister has fought, as much as he's talked, as much as he's walked, as much as he's given of himself, his family, and he said that, as much as he's done, and he's proven his case, there are still some that says that you ain't done enough. See, and that's where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take what I got from that meeting with the minister, and I'm gonna use it. But I'm not gonna take a second seat to no damn body. I don't care who you are. Period.
But when you have a brother or a sister saying that about the minister, who is a brother now, he always been a brother, but a brother now. That's a great example of one letting their feelings get in the way of the crowd. Take your feelings out of it. Take your feelings out of it. Because when you are in lodges, all that Christianity, I don't care what your religion is.
It has some merit inside the lodge.
You're on the same level. I don't care if you came there rich.
The 5 points of fellowship. 5 points of fellowship. You see what I'm saying? 5 points of fellowship.
I tell you this, hey, brother Melvin Little.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what did minister say when we get to 5 points of fellowship? I must try that.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
You got to.
But when you're in that lodge, you're on the same level. You don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many degrees you got behind your name. I'm not talking Masonic degrees, but that too. How many?
Yes.
How much money you have in the bank? What kind of vehicle you drove in? Whether you came on a bus, a private helicopter, or you walked and got there barefoot. When you are in that lodge and you start that business, when harm come down,
you're on the same level.
You're on the same level. I don't care what your age is.
But check this out.
Yep.
But you can say that.
It doesn't matter. So when somebody says something like that about the minister, they speaking out of jealousy. They coming from their feelings.
They are, but check this out. We can say all of that, but we know, as it was said earlier, some brothers don't have the balls enough or the galls enough to stand up when things happen in their lodge or sisters in their chapter. They can see things that are happening that are wrong, but they won't say anything. They just don't. They're afraid. There are some people who are in leadership, and they're afraid to say something.
Too late.
Huh?
Too late. You should have said it from the beginning.
You should have said it, but this is what happens.
You should have said it from the beginning. You
But
don't say it
brother,
from the beginning, then guess what? Too late.
it is too late, and this is the problem.
But if somebody else says something about it, then guess what? They say something about it. Then guess what? Well, man, I was gonna say something about it, but then now too late.
It is too late, and this is what happens.
Now I'm bringing it to the forefront.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm bringing it to the forefront.
And see, you're gonna catch. You must realize when you bring it to the forefront, brother, you're gonna catch heat.
So
You gonna, but see, everybody ain't ready for that though. Everybody is not ready for that.
And but that's what I'm saying. So they're not ready for it. Then so what? And what? What you gonna do?
Yeah, that's true. And what? So, but you know, man, the thing about tonight's show, what I want people to get out of this is to pick up books to read for themselves. I want people to understand that Masonry is beautiful, but you can't sit idly by and watch your organization implode or explode over bullshit because you didn't have the balls enough to stand up. Because your organization has always put their thumbs on another organization's neck or back, but you didn't say anything. But yet you want to call me your brother, but you don't defend me as your brother. So this is why I'm saying that the Follette Society is a bogus organization. You know, and we've had great conversation and dialogue, but there are some brothers that look like us who are cowards.
Who respect them.
Okay?
Who respect them. Let me tell you something. Any man or any brother, if you preaching propaganda, you should be able to talk to me live or in person, and I challenge y'all. We can sit down as men. Even if y'all say not as men, we can sit down as men and tell me that I am bogus or whatever you feel like to my face. I'm okay, and tell me on mine, because I can tell you how you wear the same stripes on your back as me. And I can prove it through history.
Yep.
Because everybody said, oh, our lineage goes to the Grand Lodge of England. No, not correctly so. We don't talk about how you had 3 warrants sitting out there and you had 3 WMs repping the same things. We don't like to talk about that. Ain't nothing about that right, but that's our history. We don't like to talk about, most likely, Prince Hall and everybody else, they was microwaved. Okay? They paid a little bit of money to get made.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to talk about that. They was as bogus can be, but guess what? Through their efforts, they launched African American Masonry. Because they were told by England, you can't do anything else but just do events. You can't raise no brothers. They were limited. But yet no, they had to break off to create. They had breaking off means we broke off our lineage. Now all of a sudden the lineage is still there. The lineage is to the Grand Lodge of England, not the United Grand Lodge of England. The United Grand Lodge of England died. The Grand Lodge of England died to create the UGLE.
Right.
So which means you claiming something that's dead. When that thing died, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. There's a lot of things that they don't talk about. I'm saying is, and we shouldn't give them power that they don't have, because all they're doing is they post an article or they say what they say or write something or they'll try to meet. But it's funny when you got guys that meet and don't open up the floor for debate for the other side. That tells me that you're nothing more than Fox News. You're propaganda.
Ooh.
You're not talking truth.
You post the meat on the level, talk on the problem, part on the screen.
Propaganda. Because you cannot go out like me. If all I'm doing is spitting viruses out about the Phylaxis Society or whatever the heck they call, I'm willing to tell them why you're bogus to your face.
So I'm gonna say this.
You claim lineage that don't exist.
I'm gonna answer this question real quick. The brother asked me just now, he says, how come you only talk about PHA? I have seen mainstream Mason call you and your organization bogus and clandestine too. So once again, how come you only bring up Prince Hall? So let me put it to you this way. If another organization, mainstream, international, modern, free, whatever, call my Grand Lodge bogus, we can have that conversation too. We can. Now, for the organization that you claim to have called my organization clandestine, name them. And we'll have that conversation. Because I've sit with mainstream brothers and had the conversation. A conversation. So, you know, we can have that conversation. I don't mind. BWOK, be woke. We can have that conversation. It doesn't bother me. See, this is the difference between this channel and any other channel. We can have that conversation. Just wanted to answer that to you. Go ahead.
You notice how not one brother, they willing to type with their fingertips, but not one brother is willing to call in to defend the stances of that propaganda. One, that they don't have enough knowledge to defend it.
There you go.
Two,
There you go.
they don't have the heart to be theirs.
Yep. That's what it all boils down to.
Notice I didn't bring nothing else out. They don't have the heart to be embarrassed.
Wait a minute. This brother asked me, Tony, did you join or attempt to join them years ago? Join who years ago? Let me tell you, I've been in the same lodge for 32 years. So attempt to join who? You know, so y'all need to check that. Get your information. Come to me and ask me about me. But go ahead. I have to interject sometime, brothers. Go ahead. Hey, Michael White said, hey, Brother Tony, they won't contact you if they don't call me. Oh, man.
I have
Oh,
brothers
man.
I have a lot of brothers that are PHA. No, we will not sit in their lives together, but they call me brother. I got brothers that I support, PHA brothers from the top and from the bottom, and it's funny because we address each other as brother. Of course, your organization does not allow it, but clearly their heart recognizes me. That's enough. I don't have to sit in the lodge with you. Why? It's only about a couple hours a month, once or twice a month.
Absolutely.
You have to live life. The lodge, all it is they tell you allegorical stories through your lecture to raise your consciousness to help make us all better men. We have to live outside of the lodge. You got a lot of brothers who claim to be Masons. Masonry is a lifestyle.
Yes.
And we practice that lifestyle to better ourselves. That is what Masonry is. And a lot of brothers are not understanding that. It is not, oh, I belong to the lodge. It's so smoky, Joe. Doesn't matter. People know me by the way I carry myself. And I know brothers when I see them. When I shake them up, we don't have to talk many a times. I've had white Masons, black Masons. I tell them who I am, where I'm from. They don't give two shits. All they know is that they are talking to one of their brothers.
And
I love them, and they love me.
I have a story when I have a time when I was in a Walmart and a brother approached me and he asked me a couple of questions. And my personal thing is that I'm only going to give you two questions to ask me. And he went to a third question. I turned around and walked away from him. And he came and caught up with me in another area in Walmart. He said, "Why'd you walk away, brother? What kind of Mason are you?" I'm like, "What? Man, you better leave me alone."
Propaganda.
I don't play those games. I'm such and such, such and such. I'm such and such. And I'm saying, "Oh, okay."
That's propaganda.
That's
You know, I had took over a body shop in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the man that ran that shop had been there 62 years, and he had been a Shriner for 52 years, had been a Mason for 55 years. White man in his 90s. When me and him shook up and we had a talk, this is a white man in his 90s. You know what he said? And I'm a black man. He said, "Oh, everything's going to be all right because my brother's taking over."
Wow.
He said, "My brother is taking over." He didn't say, "Well, it's a black Mason. I ain't going to do that. I got to contact the Phylaxis Society and see." He didn't say that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh man. So I'm going to answer a question right here real quick. It says, Traveling Man, he's still on it tonight. He says, "Even though you refuse to answer my question, I will answer yours. I'm not PHA because I reached out to the lodge in my city, and in my city, the lodge I joined responded first." Okay, now. Okay, so Traveling Man asked me, I'm talking about Kemet's system. I'm talking about the white man changed it into. He didn't change it into anything. The ideal is the system remains there. You could take a hamburger and call it McDonald's, Wendy's, Carl's Jr. You can call them Jack in the Box. It's still a damn hamburger. It's just under a different name. So for you to say they took it and changed the name, it's still the same system. Still the same system. Just a little watered down, but it's still the same system. I hope that answers your question. All right. I'm just taking some questions from the chat room, brothers.
That's perfect.
So go ahead.
If I can say this, as African American males in the United States, we cannot seem to work together. My thing is this: why are we even worried about what somebody green, any other color? We can't even work together. Let's work together and build. Do you even realize if you took the African people out of the American society, we will in turn be the 5th strongest economic nation in the world. Yes. Most people don't understand that. The problem is we can't come together to unite. Put our money where our mouth is. We can have our own scientists. We have our own schools. We can do everything that Masonry taught us and come together, just like how the nation, they build men. They start them out at 5 years old. This is I say a lot of brothers are like, man, you're crazy. Masonry is a progressive science. Yeah. Science is the discovery of progress means progress. We are supposed to be on the forefront of humanity at all times, not relics. I wouldn't mind making kids fellow craft, EAs and fellow crafts. Can't be a Master Mason till you're 18. Why? We need to start putting our Masonic values into these kids early.
Wow.
I would love to have a lodge of EAs and fellow craft, and you got 9-year-olds moving around, and you have a grown man coming. He's gonna say, "Well, this kid can do it. I know I can do it." Yep. People say that's crazy.
So look, I got a question real quick, and we're gonna go ahead and sign off. I got 3 callers on the line, so I want each of you to go ahead and just, kind of sum up tonight's show and just give you. Got a couple of minutes before we log off. We've been on here for about 2 hours, so it's late on the East Coast. So I just want to go ahead and give you that time. Who wants to go first? Melvin Little, go first. You just got to talking. Go first.
I came on last.
All right,
So
Brother Bell, go ahead. Who else is Brother Bell still there?
This is brother Bradley.
Okay, Brother Bradley. There was a Brother Bell on the line. Go ahead, Brother Bradley.
Past rush for Bradley. I keep along lodge number 7, Cleveland, Ohio, but I reside now here in Atlanta, Georgia, Latonia, Georgia to be exact. I think the show was pretty good, very interesting. Got a lot out. Always love to fellowship with some good brothers, like-minded brothers. We don't always agree, but hey, that's how you learn. And I look forward and would love to participate again in the future.
All right. Well, you have the number now, so anytime you see me on, you want to call a show, you certainly can. I would hope that you and Melvin Little can get together. He's right there in Atlanta too.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
because I am looking for a home.
Well, Brother Melvin Little, there you have it. Y'all need to connect.
Brother Bradley, you are probably about you know where the Nissan dealership is?
In Latonia?
In Conyers? No, in Conyers.
In Conyers? Yeah.
I got a body down the street, not even 8 seconds from that dealership. You should come up to the body shop. Come talk to me.
I sure
Brother Little. So me and you are about 10 minutes away. That's fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing, me and you are like 10 minutes away. If you send Brother Hawkins your information, I can reach out to you sometime tomorrow afterwards. But the only thing I want to say to my PHA brothers, to all brothers around the world, I love you. I'm looking for a way that we can find a commonality so we can talk about what we got in common.
Masonry is the commonality.
Love, faith, hope, and charity. I love all my brothers, and I'm hoping one day that we're gonna all come together.
Well,
That's
there
all
you
I
have
got.
it. Who else is on the line? I think Brother Bell has kind of got disconnected there, but I'm gonna close it out by saying this. I agree with Brother Melvin Little just said as far as loving all the brothers of the craft and sisters of the order. I would hope that Freemasonry is the commonality that we have. And if we can ever really take it seriously and use it, we'll be much better off. And before I go, I want to send a big shout out to the various General Grand Masonic Congresses that will be meeting in Chicago in February. There will be a meeting of about maybe 5 General Grand Masonic Congresses. We're going to be there in Chicago talking about what we're talking about now as far as uniting and coming together and with a better relationship. So if your Congress is not going to be there, I don't know what's going on with you, but I do know that 5 will be there present. So we're going to leave it at that. If anybody else got anything to say, they can give me a call offline. But until then, everybody, you need to stay out them bushes and keep your light on. I'm out. Peace.
I would like.
Trevor Light.